Miss Peregrine and Tim Burton, the making of a film fable. Ransom Riggs's novel Miss Peregrine's home for peculiar children, with its haunting photos, quirky outsiders and feel for the macabre, reads a bit like a Tim Burton movie. And, fittingly, it has now become one. The director of Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands was drawn to Miss Peregrine, in theaters September 30th, because it fell in line with the themes he often explores: misfits struggling to be understood and tales that blend the comic and the tragic. The peculiar children of the title possess special abilities, like the power to reanimate dead creatures or shoot fire from their fingers. For this story of a teenage boy, A.S.A. Butterfield, who uncovers a family mystery that involves a handful of those children, invisible monsters known as hollows, and time travel, Mr. Riggs built his narrative around vintage photographs he collected. "I liked Ransom's approach with the pictures," Mr. Burton said in a phone interview from Los Angeles. "It was an interesting kind of way to create a story. It made it feel like a weird old fable." For the production, Mr. Burton sketched characters, props and more. Here, he explains why he decided to put clothes on evil creatures and how he came to storyboard a feast of human eyeballs. "This is Hugh, Milo Parker, a peculiar who has a wild hive of bees living inside of him." Mr. Burton's simple sketch shows the intensity of the character using only dots to illustrate the bees. "I didn't do too many sketches of the kids because I didn't want to do 3 drawings and try to cast the kids to look like that," he said. "This was just a little more my process, my doodles really," Mr. Burton said. "Doodling these little things helps me to get thoughts from the inside out." The Hollows. These creatures are the biggest threat to peculiars, and all the more menacing because they are invisible to most everyone. In his sketch, Mr. Burton incorporated mouth tentacles and other traits described in the novel, but also put his stamp on this lanky figure, which could be at home in his films The Nightmare Before Christmas or Corpse Bride. "Originally, we were doing things that felt too much like monsters," he said. "I got back to the idea that they should have a human quality. That made it feel more like a folktale kind of children's horror story. So I kept clothes on them so they had a human aspect to them."